And I guess that's the end of the season. It's actually over. Football is over for a few months now, and there'll be a deep analysis of the season soon. But for now, that was a nice way to end it. 5-0 against a very nothing of a team. I mean, Watford, let's be honest, but it was a sumptuous performance that hinted at what glorious things that could come next season. It was nice to end on such a high, and there's lots of little stories that emerged from that game throughout it. But most of it, it was the promise of what could be next year. The football was absolutely beautiful. The pressing, the intensity, the link-up play between Aguero, Jesus, De Bruyne, Sane, Silva, a lot of them. It was absolutely brutal at times, and it was full of little subplots. Aguero, I thought, was absolutely excellent. I thought that was the Aguero that we've missed probably all season, if we're being honest. Once again, he was involved in the link-up play, giving and going, back heels, assists, and scoring 2 goals. Denied his hat-trick by a couple of world-class saves from Gomez, but he was absolutely fantastic. And I just kind of wish we'd had that Aguero all season. And Vincent Kompany, again, I think that's 11 games he's been involved in now in a row. Is this his injury problems actually behind him? How good would we have been this season if he'd been there all year? He looks like the team has turned a corner just because he's around. He is in the matchday squad. He is in the 11. He's there influencing games from the back. I've said it on several match reviews now, but Vinny does make a difference. He really, really, really does. He's our captain, he's our leader, and him just being there inspires his confidence in the team. And it looks like Aguero has found his match fitness now. Maybe it's finally got through to Guardiola, from Guardiola got through to Aguero. And I just hope we see him next season. I'm sure we will do. I've seen some rumours online saying Aguero still could leave. I don't think that's going to happen, really. I think it's naive. I think it's stupid to do that. I think to find a player who scores 30 plus goals a season, and that's 33 now, his record ever goals in a season for City. And he still had a poor season by his own standards. Imagine that. It says it all, doesn't it? But to find a player who's guaranteed that many goals, and he finally looks like he's going to get it at 28 years old, and who else is going to replace him? You can turn around and say maybe Mbappe, but I don't think we'll sign him personally. Maybe Messi. We're not going to sign him either. After that, anyone else is a risk. Aubameyang, Griezmann, all these kind of players, they are a risk in my personal opinion. And Sanchez is not a replacement for Aguero in my opinion. He isn't at all. Sanchez is someone who complements them. He isn't ever going to have a season where he scores as many goals as Aguero's done this year. And Aguero still hasn't been at his very best. I think the two players should be in the same squad maybe. But to replace a 28-year-old with a 28-year-old who doesn't score as many goals at his best doesn't make sense to me. I want to see Aguero carry on that partnership with Jesus because the signs between them are brilliant. There's a mutual respect between the two players. He doesn't see it very often with Aguero, but there's only been a few players that he's actually linked up very well throughout his career, at City at least. Negredo was one of them for half a season, and then Tevez towards the end of the season title winning as well. Those players, they just seem to link very well. It looks like he's got the same respect and same admiration for Gabriel Jesus' all-round play as well, because their partnership seems to be slowly flourishing into something pretty special. Even with Jesus on the wing, he's proved that he can score goals and assists from there. And his finish for his goal, that's just magic, isn't it? That is just genuinely special talent. That is the kind of talent you can't teach someone. He has that in abundance. He has that Brazilian flair that you just love to see, that you pay to watch. That finish, the touch, and the chip over the keeper. Composure and absolute brilliance. I think that's 11 goals now he's been involved in just 8 Premier League games. 7 goals, 4 assists. He's a special player who scores goals, and given the fact he's had injuries as well, given the fact he had no real rest after a full season over in Brazil, and he's in a new country, it's an incredible statistic for him. He obviously is the kind of player who just has an end product. He obviously will get better. He's the only incredibly young still. He's younger than Josh Harrop at United, who's 21, and he's counted as a youngster and made his debut today for United and scored. Jesus is like 12 months younger than that, and he's already doing better things. It just shows you how much of a special talent we really do have here on our hands. And him alongside Sane with Sterling and Aguero, maybe even Sanchez rotating, and all of a sudden we've got the forward line of a team that could challenge for honours at every single level. But you do hope, though, that Vincent Kompany, to me, he is the most important one. Is he actually back? Is he back? That's it. He doesn't look like he's struggling with fitness. Now he's got a whole summer off to actually concentrate on keeping himself in his prime physical condition. And the signs look very, very promising there. I thought once again he led the defence perfectly. Otamendi looked great alongside him. And I want to give a shout out as well for Gaio Clichy and Sanya and Navas. Clichy, though, in particular, has been at City for a long time now. I know he isn't everyone's favourite player. I know he is well past his best. But for $6 million and for several years of service, he seems a great guy, a good pro. I hope he got a decent send-off from the away fans there, because he's a good man and a good player. He's been a bargain for this, for that amount of money that we spent on him. One of the best fullbacks in the league over the past 6-7 years. He has dropped off, definitely, but he's been a great servant. A 2-time Premier League winner with City and one of his cups as well, the FA Cup and the League Cup. And we will miss him having around the squad in general. It is the right time for him to go. But why I just give him a shout out, because he's a good player. He is a good player. Past his best, yes, but a good man and a good squad player for years. And the same can be said as well for different levels and degrees for Navas and Sanyu. Probably, well, Navas might stay around, but two of them could be definitely on the way there. And they've been good squad members as well. At some point, they've been useful in their City careers. Particularly Navas in his first season there. He was excellent that year when we had Aguero and so on. He had loads of assists and so on. He lost his touch, his kind of confidence a little bit, but you know, a good man and a good player at one point, so they'll leave with my blessing at very least. Long overdue, but good players. The big thing as well, that Yaya hug with Pep Guardiola. How much do you want to read into that? I don't know what it means. I don't think Yaya's going anywhere personally. I think it would be a lot of sense giving him another year contract. I've said a lot previously that maybe it's time to end it, and I could still get behind that, but given how good he's looked for the past 10-11 games or so on, he looks still like one of the best players in the league. And as long as we don't rely on him, as long as he isn't our first choice option with no one else to fall back on, I am totally behind the idea of Yaya staying for another 12 months, because he is still a top-class player. Possibly the best dictating holding midfielder in the Premier League. And now he's obviously working hard. He looks sharper, fitter, younger. And it'd be a shame if we didn't get to give him a proper send-off as well, because in different ways, he's almost as big a legend as Pablo Zabaleta. Maybe not as much of a cult hero, but what he's done for this club in terms of how he's brought us this success single-handedly at times, dragged us through big games. Yaya is a genius and a City legend, a moody, temperamental bastard of a player at times. Yeah, definitely. But a City legend, 100%. Anyway, that is the end of the season. Another great performance, another great bunch of goals. Individually, there's loads of standout candidates. De Bruyne was fantastic yet again. 18 assists, I think it is, for the season now in the Premier League. A phenomenal player, and he's been nowhere near his best this season. Silva, once again, beautifully weighted through balls constantly. We saw his pace down the wing. And I'm hoping we see lots more of this next season. I'm sure we will do. I'm sure when we get the full back soon that we want, and we've been linked, obviously, quite heavily with Kyle Walker, and we obviously been linked in with Fernandinho, who can come in and do a job in midfield, and I'm sure we'll sign left back as well. I'm sure we'll be a different proposition next season. Anyway, what did you make of this season? What did you make of the game? Get in the comments. There will be, by the way, a vlog from the West Brom game. I just had no time to edit it whatsoever, but there will be that this week. I'll edit it and put it out because it's a good day. It was a good game, obviously, and it was Zaba's farewell. And there'll be a season review, there'll be an academy review and all that kind of stuff. It'll come up over the coming weeks because football is done now. So now what do we do? Anyway, guys, subscribe and I'll see you later.